Omega is when you die. So the Alpha Omega is when you do.
It's unexplainable when I drop that ass like a 6'4". Bitches, niggas, bitches and cops, no high heels. Make a motherfucker do a cop wheel and I steal. Bust nuts in broad day, fuck what those smarts say. I'm breaking them off like dog legs. Try to parlay, that's when you all dead. I have the zone called. When you in the area, shit as small as atoms to bust your shit. That's why we back to mistakes. Now who you fucking with? Who you ducking with? Self-explanatory in your crew. No love, no glory as I come through. Shit like conflict, handle your function. Dicks and dirt by bunches, atrocious. When I come like bitch, I smoke them bitches like a cigar. We are them niggas be putting them bitches in the back of the cuzars. We so far. Pop that trunk, see the lake front. What man gon' do to his enemies as I proceed to split this bitch like a Philly? Feel me, believe me, and see me in 3D. Have you heard I will use my third eye, matters occur when I demonstrate eliminating witness, survival fitness. Don't need no niggas to handle my business. Yes, you guessed it, I'm double-breasted when I flex shit. 34 shots requested, no exit in the land of closed casket, and this ain't the last shit.
And Omega, the beginning and the ending. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending.
I'm on some Midwest flow, slug to the chest shit, and slugs where your best fit. Camouflage like on with shit that's hard to dodge. Raise up like a garage, does sing like a mirage. In the land of kings, to blame the men with mine. Idiotic, hypnotic, let's go Tennessee. Innocent like a centerfold, and put the individual.
It's right. It says there's not like a shirt. I gave him the ass.
Yeah, but the hat is big.
Be your fucking ass like a presso. Lord, limits of games and shit that sounds too incredible. Flex like solo, pulse like a photo, erupt like volcanoes. Omigo, my flow sounds too evil. Into the land we go, the warland of no man. Material black nigga, know how to fuck with. We fuck quick, they go. Terrified from that steel piece, individual starts to decrease and release those spirits. You hear it, you hear it.
And Omega, the beginning and the ending. Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. Alpha and Omega, the do or die.
And I wish everybody would have autographed that kid for having
And Omega is to do.
I mean, right now he died.
that card going straight to eBay.
Yeah, I mean, he has to finish the season and show us up. I think for the game, but he had a decent half of the year.
Started off
Last
back,
season,
fuck them, they don't fuck with him. The everyday
I think he's
no,
doing pretty well. I mean,
they get no consent.
I think he's
Damn
doing
thing, don't holler.
That's good. But I'm excited, man. They win one more. I'm back on the play. I
players. I don't follow teams.
Okay.
But, you know, out of high school, started following the Patriots, started following the Red Sox, and then, like, right around the time like, Jordan retired, so I was, like, in limbo, just watch basketball. And then I saw LeBron James in high school. I'm like, yo, this dude, he comes into the league. And I followed him until
Today.
the Celtics got Kevin Garnett. and that was it. For a while, even though I love LeBron, Kevin Garnett, Ray, Paul Pierce.
Nah, that
I
was
was there the day of the parade, but like subconsciously, by accident, there was a high school council, so I brought my kids to visit BU. And that's where the parade passes right by BU. Yeah, so it
Popped out.
It was just amazing. It was just an amazing feeling. Took me like a basketball fan. See, especially New England is big on basketball. Tell me when we're ready to go.
you'll hear the cue up. You'll hear the intro.
So this is live on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
This is Zanaya.
It's the righteous vigilante Jamon Creek, and you're tuning in to Minds Wide Open. Hey, yo, check it out. This is Namestream, never mainstream. You're tuning in to Minds Wide Open Media.
Shout out to the Florida Vibe Directory. You're now listening to the best playlist in South Florida.
Let's go. You already know what time it is. It's your boy, Gabe Avelli. We back with another Florida Vibe Directory. Now, this episode right here, this is a very special episode. I told y'all for Hispanic Heritage Month that we was going to bring different, you feel me, people, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing in the, you know, Latino community. So, you know, without, you know, further ado, we got our special guest. We got Hollywood Jack in the building.
What's going on, brother?
How you feeling, bro? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's just I didn't know this was part of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hey.
It threw me off.
Yo, just know I always got a plan. You feel me? I always
Yeah.
got a plan. How was the drive over here?
The drive was simple. I lived down the street, so the drive was 7 minutes. 7 minutes from my home.
Right in the neck of the woods. and
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, I mean, for the people that don't know you, you know, just give them a little bit of a background on yourself, exactly what you do.
Well, my name is Jackson. I was born in New Orleans, raised in DR.
You got to get a little closer to the mic, though.
I was born in New Orleans, raised in DR, bred in the city of Lawrence. So I, you know, New Orleans, I was there only for 3 years. Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, I was there for 7. And then by the time I got to Lawrence, I was almost 10. And I did about, it's not like a bid, but I was there for about 30 years. And until it was time to go, my wife and I were discussing moving to Florida for a while. And the pandemic hit. It was around the time my daughter was graduating, and we had decided the year before that, as soon as she graduates 8th grade, that I was coming down. We were coming down as a family unit. So we had a lot to give up coming down, like myself, career-wise, us as a unit. We had a successful business, a clothing store for about 10 years. We actually had opened up our second store. But we were just tired of the weather, tired of, you know, spending so many months inside and not being able to enjoy ourselves. And
Right.
I was always in Miami Gardens, flying down to come see my grandmother, spend time with my grandmother. So, you know.
You already, like, fucking with the area.
Yeah. And one of my best friends, as soon as we graduated high school, he took his little Honda Prelude 1992 Prelude Red. I saw one out around the corner. I can't believe they're that expensive now. And he drove down, and so he was out here in Hollywood first. And so when I came down, actually, my family, we stayed with him until we found our own place. So
Right.
we're here now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So how did you get involved in music?
I always loved hip hop. I remember listening to Don't Sweat the Technique. That's when I fell in love with hip hop. And the challenging part for me at a young age was that I had to relearn the English language. So I was living in the projects in Lawrence, Mass. Shout out to Lawrence, Mass.
Shout out Lawrence Bass.
Yeah, Lawtown 978. Living in the projects, living in the stadiums, and listening to the music at the parties, and what it did is, I discovered hip hop and fell in love with it. And then as a fifth grader, actually, with my boy Danny Gavin, who lives out here. Shout out to DJ Gavin, GBG, Gigs by Gavin. We ended up, we were in fifth grade together.
Damn.
And the eighth graders, there was a talent show, and they did Scenario. And I was like, holy shit. And it's just, my love kept developing, and throughout the years, everybody dreams either to be a ball player or a rapper. And, I rapped for a minute, and then when I got to college and finally got into a real studio, I was like, I couldn't catch the damn beat. I was in the booth for about 5-6 hours, and I'm like, nah. And I always had a business mind, so I decided to manage my buddies, manage my friends, and we made some money in college. But as we got older,
Damn, wait, so you were rapping at one point?
yeah. Everybody dreams. I think when you love hip hop, you dream to be a rapper, a DJ. When you love rap, because hip hop encompasses everything.
Right.
When you love rap, you
Want to be a rapper?
you just want to be part of the culture in one way or another. One of my friends has become a very successful DJ. He bought his 2 turntable, white Irish kid from Lawrence, and he's amazing. And just playing music, all types of music.
Right.
And he's actually one of the best Latin DJs, and he's Irish. So, but he grew up with on hip hop, so he's still at the core. That's what brought him to DJ the parties.
Right. And I mean, that says a lot about you too, to be able even to have that mindset to be like, you know what, this isn't for me, but I still want to contribute to the culture in some way.
Yeah.
So with that, I wanted to ask you, what was your first success, you would say, as a manager?
My first success as a manager, I think it goes back to the early 2000s. It's crazy. It's right before the towers came down. We were in college. I managed a group called Soul Caliber. So we were made up of rappers and poets. But at the time, we were heavy into the hip hop scene.
How many deep?
It was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was like, we have about 5 or 6 members. Everybody had a component. Like, we had our DJs, we had our main DJ and our backup DJ. We had our producers, and we were all just friends that loved the culture. So right before September 11th, the week before September 11th, we actually ended up going to Boston, and we had flyers and like, hey, let's catch a train, because I had ended up getting a show for us at our college, because I was vice president of Brothers and Sisters United. So I got our first show at our school.
That's dope.
Our first big show, not our first show. I think that was our first big show, but we put it together. So we put a mini concert with all different types of acts, and even Terminology, who before he was signed, he was on one of the acts, and I gotta find that tape somewhere.
Oh, you have it like on tape, like
VHS.
That's crazy. That's
VHS.
crazy.
So yeah, we put the show together, dope concert. We passed out the flyer. We packed the new gym, like the student center that they had built, and we got paid for it.
Damn.
So I learned early on that you get paid for things. So I managed that group for a while until I think after college, we all, for some weird, strange reason, we were really fast to grow up and get married and find wives. So it kind of dwindled out.
Right.
And, for a while, I was a professional in education until I went into the clothing business with my wife between the years of 2009 and 2020.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. So you guys were like having a whole, like, different brands there, or it was one brand?
So we started off, I'm going to ask, can you curse?
Yeah.
All right, so we started off, I won't curse much, but at times I think there's value to it.
Right.
I have a hustler's ambition. I don't know if it's part of being Dominican, being part of the culture, but Like hustling's always been in my spirit. So, you know, I was just tired of working 2 or 3 jobs. You know, my wife was also working. She was finishing college, and I was just grinding, or like working numerous jobs. And there was a local sneaker store in my city. Shout out to Kenner's, no longer around, but they were around for about 100 years.
Kenner's.
Yeah, Kenner's Shoes, Lawrence, Mass. And Gary, the owner, took a liking to me because he knew me since I was a kid, or what you guys call a jit down here. So, you know, showed me love, and then one day I saw like a whole bunch of sneakers he had set up to the side, and I said, yo, who's that? Oh, it's for so-and-so. He wholesales it to him. These are the sneakers he doesn't move out of the store, and the dude sells them in the streets, the original sneakers, and he brings them back his cut. And, you know, and I'm like, yo, let me do that.
Right, sign me up.
Yeah, and he fronted me $1,000 worth of sneakers.
Damn.
And I started selling them out of my trunk. Like, so Lawrence, Mass is very unique. It is an old mill town in the immigration city built by the Irish, then the Italian came, then the Lebanese. So it's a melting pot. And in the late 60s, late 70s, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans started coming to the city. Then the 80s, Dominicans, because it was a mill city, so there was always
Work there for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now it has a higher concentration of Dominicans than Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like Washington Heights, Lawrence, then Miami. So
That's
they,
crazy.
yeah. So within the structure of the city, there's a main strip called Broadway, and on Broadway it's like barbershop, beauty salon, liquor store, barbershop. You know, so I started going from barbershop to barbershop, selling the sneakers. Eventually started selling hats.
They was like what, Reebok Classics or?
No, I'm talking about Nikes, like Jordans and like Huaraches.
Oh, so like shit,
Air Force.
So shit was jumping.
Yeah, it was going well. Then I started selling hats, and then I gave myself a name and said, "We got it." And I had business cards, but I was selling everything out of my trunk.
That's dope.
So I had a special client. He was a dope boy, and one day he told me, "Yo, come by the house. I want to buy like 7, 8 pairs." I'm like, "Yo, I need this." And I went to his crib, and I was selling him the sneakers. He was seeing them, and there was just 2 or 3 bricks on the table,
Sheesh.
and dudes were high. I'm like, "Yo, if the feds come in, I'm here selling sneakers. I'm gonna get arrested."
Just for being in
Yeah, just for being around, and I think that made me like realize like, whoa, let me put a break into it, and then in 2009, you know, wife and I, we discussed it, and I had you know, you feel like people are friends because you grew up with them, an associate that he had a business and he wanted to sell it, so we leased it with the option to buy. And
you just started selling the stuff out of there.
we took his business, we actually made it better. And when the option to buy came around, because he was doing business on a shady level, we decided
Not to buy.
and to go on our own, and he tried to be a scumbag and keep our deposit. So, you know, we had to go to war with him. First, strategically, you know, got some attorneys involved, and then he pulled a scumbag move, bought a U-Haul and a cop and tried to take everything that was
From the store, like your merchandise.
like everything. I'm talking about fixtures, everything. So our store was in Lowell, Mass, and there was a goon in the city that the streets show you love if you show them love. You don't have to be street. I'm not a street dude.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not out there doing street things, but I'm from the streets. I understand the streets, and I respect the streets.
So you know how to move.
Yeah, so a dude called me like, "Yo, so-and-so, this is happening. I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to wait for you till you get here." So I pulled up. Dude was there with the cops. And, you know, I spoke to the officer. I'm like, "Yo, this is the letter we sent him and his lawyer." And the officer actually was listening to me. And I called my attorney. He spoke to my attorney. He made the dude leave all the merchandise because it will equal the amount that he owed us. And all he had to give us back was $2,000.
Wow. So this was all over $2,000.
It was just $2,000. It was a deposit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like 2 G's that he could have gave back. And the thing is, we were going to give him back the store with the same amount of merchandise that he gave us with.
And the traction that you already helped.
Like, it had changed because back then the word swag was big. He had no swag, no type of style at all.
But he was also selling clothing?
But he was selling clothing, but in the city that he was selling it, Lowell didn't have a lot of options. So he was like the first to start selling tees.
So you peeped that there was like a market there.
There was a market, but I had a sense of fashion, and I understood people, and I understood customer service. So did my wife, because she worked at Verizon forever, and she was a hell of a salesman at Verizon. So that went down, and literally it was a Friday. By the following Friday, October 3rd, 2010, we reopened.
Wow.
We
At the
rebuilt
same
and
location?
reopened in a week.
Same location.
Same location, different name, new walls, new paint. Like, obviously the amount of merchandise was low, and we would buy from the wholesalers in New York. Eventually, through time, my wife did a lot of research. We started buying directly from the companies, opening up accounts, and it was still challenging, because this is what happens with companies. Companies tell you, "Oh, what brands do you have? Oh, I carry these. What accounts do you have? Or I don't have any accounts. I buy from the wholesale district." You, hit us back up when you have accounts. So they won't give you accounts, but if they don't open the door, I would never get an account.
Right.
So I reached out. Shout out to 89 out of Miami / Boston, New York, but originally headquarters is here in Miami. I reached out to a gentleman named Ray. Through some people we knew, we had a conversation, and he was our first brand. 89, who's still alive to this point, 20 years plus in urban branding, because in urban clothing,
No, I mean,
like,
when it comes to-
brands die all the time.
Yeah, of course.
And they're still around, and shout out to 89 for now.
Evolving too.
Yeah, and they actually, Fane is a brand ambassador, and we'll get to Fane later on. He's a brand ambassador for 89. Shout out for their support. So he opened the door. Ray Figs. His other partner is also Figs. They're both very supportive of, a lot of the moves I made. And slowly we started
Building that.
different. It took us like 4 years to get Michelin-S. Shout out to 47 Brand was the first hat company to say yes to us, and they're out in New England. A lot of people don't know that. Their headquarters, they first opened across the street from Fenway as a regular hat store. They eventually they're one of the biggest hat companies in the world.
Wow.
They say yes to us first, and then we were having an issue getting Michelin-S. And this is how, similar to like the music business, and I think going through the headaches of urban fashion, it's just fashion, period, we were getting blackballed by
Whoever decided to like fuck with you.
there was like a hype store. Like when skateboarding was in, everybody was doing skateboarding, wearing Hypebeast clothes, and paying like $100 for tees.
Yeah.
And like we sold plain tees, and then we had graphic tees from all these different brands, but our price point was reasonable. Our price point was for the community.
And that was part of your marketing.
And these other dudes, like, they were on some different shit, but there's room for everybody. But they started, so they told a certain, this is what it is. Sales reps are regional. So the sales rep that cover like the East Coast up to a certain point, he was like, nah, because these people carry Michelin-S, and they're like a block away. I'm like, they have 8 literally hats on their wall, because they will sell like individual. I have 50 to 60. You know what I mean? So
What are we
that,
talking
and like I said, and then whatever. I became ignorant. I cursed the dude out
From Michelin-S.
from Michelin-S. I gave 2 fucks. That was, temper issues I had. And through time, You know, I ended up getting LRG. Shout out to O from LRG. O, big influence, and the clothing, especially coming out of New York, put me onto Hustle Gang, all the other brands that mess with us because of O. So shout out to O. And we went to Agenda. Have you ever heard of Agenda?
Yes.
So Agenda is like this big urban clothing convention.
It's like a 20 times Complex Con or something like that. Like
Before Complex Con, there was Agenda.
because the Agenda is like what they use in like Nordstrom's and things like that. That's when they add stuff to.
Agenda is when you go see the brand. So the brands will preview the clothing like 6 months ahead, a year ahead, and you discover new brands. So we went to Agenda, and obviously to check out the new brands, pick up new brands, and you know, I would see like different fugazi dudes. Like dudes will stunt on Facebook first because the gram wasn't that popular. Say that they were at Agenda. They will take a picture outside of Agenda,
Acting like they were there.
and they were in there, and you know, that was another fugazi dude that, you know, you do business with a lot of people
But
the
wait.
wrong way, like early on, because you don't know, because you expect, and this is what's wrong, and you expect them to have the same type of business courtesy, the same type of ethics and values that you have, and they don't. So at Agenda, you know, my wife being a smart woman, she said like, listen, don't talk to dude, go talk to his boss. And his boss was there. We spoke to the boss, and then we got Michelin S. Then that opened up doors. You know, we had the same issue with New Era, and because, you know, it was an old white guy representing New Era. He didn't want to open us, so we actually, they had because we, not only did we carry urban apparel, but we also carry shirts and ties. Like, dudes got to know how to dress up, because we were in a community where there was older people, so we didn't want to exclude them, so we carried buttons up and shirts and dress pants.
Wow.
So we had like a closet just full of like, yo, dude, you're taking out your dinner, your girl.
Or you
to-
got a job interview or
Yeah,
whatever.
and dudes didn't know. They were gonna. Some dude was gonna take his girl out with a T-shirt on their anniversary. I'm like, 5 years, bro. Wear this, and they're like, nah, Jack, I don't know. I'm like, I'm telling you, wear this, and you know, and we slowly transformed, and we saw a lot of people grow because you're there for 10 years. This is someone who's 15, be 25. So at Agenda, you know, we got to meet a lot of people throughout the year. Shout out to my boy Casino. All right. Casino started to bring artists by my store. He was a promoter. Now he's now in Georgia. He's managing Breeze. Shout out to Breeze out of New York, tri-state area. But Casino started bringing artists by my shop. Mm-hmm. The club was literally around the corner. By their back door and my back door were like at a 90-degree angle.
From the
so
club.
yeah, so you know, I got to meet Styles P early, and we had a fitting room. So he you know, got
So
to
he
meet.
could buy a fit from you right here and then just boom, go into the.
Yeah, and at the same time, I would just, you know, hook them up with 1 or 2 pieces for free, and you know, get the picture, get a shout out. I got to meet Styles P, got to meet Miguel before he blew up.
Wow.
Like literally a month before he blew up. Prodigy, rest in peace. Prodigy, the coolest rapper I've ever met in person.
Damn.
Hung out all day at the store. It was a Saturday, and it was like he was about to leave at 5 o'clock. He was there between like from 1 to 5, and he was like, "Y'all got to go back to my hotel room to get ready. You pulling up to the show?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Why? You're a big fan." And I'm like, "Bro, I've been working all day. If I'm going to your show, I'm going straight like this. T-shirt, so on and so forth, and they're not going to let me in." He made a phone call, spoke to the owner, spoke to the promoters, let Jackson in. So, and he just met me that day, so that was cool. So I got to meet a lot of artists, Lloyd Banks, different. The Latin artists are the best artists. No disrespect to the rappers out there, but Latin artists, they pay. They don't want nothing for free.
And you're saying like
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 you
a
don't
thumb
want
finger?
nothing for free. They want to show you extra love, buy your merchandise. I think individuals in the rap game, they're so used to getting free stuff that, yo, support the small business, you know what I mean? But the Latin artists or the reggaeton artists, the cheapest guy that was crying because he wanted a free pair of Jordans, and we wouldn't give it to him. Was Elephant Man.
Really?
Elephant Man, like, you know, he came by the store, showed us, like, you know, we gave him some gear, but I'm like, yo, I'm not giving you a pair of Jordans,
That's
bro.
so wait, so you had the account with Nike too?
No, I had a plug on the side.
But that's like one of the hardest things to get.
Yeah, but that's when you make your bet with the devil. So like when you choose in business to do any work with Nike, it's like
Adidas will never fuck with you. Type.
no. Adidas actually approved us right before we moved.
Wow.
Like literally, but Adidas wanted us. Our first sneaker company was Fila. They showed us love. Shout out to Mark for opening up the account. After Fila, it was Puma. We had Puma. Shout out to my peoples in Boston for showing us love with Puma. And like again, and it's like because they'll say no to you for years, but then you show, and they'll send
But
like
then they see your growth.
they'll send like a random dude to shop, or like the sales rep will come in, and we understood who sales rep were, and they look, and the thing is like they never understood that we were a small business. We don't cater to what's a big franchise down here? Is it Big City or there's like different urban clothing stores down here?
Like Jimmy Jazz?
Let's say Jimmy Jazz. Jimmy Jazz, the sales rep for Jimmy Jazz, he buys for 30 stores.
Right.
I buy from one store.
Right.
So I used to get the stuff.
Off quicker.
I used to get the stuff before they do. Because their stuff has to go to a warehouse and they have to get distributed. And I go on My Taste, and I will go to New York sometimes to buy accessories. So I would still go to the city once, twice a month, and go down to Manhattan, buy accessories. We used to also sell like body oil, like hygienic stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, body oils and all types of little accessories.
So you could do a lot of things in your store.
We used to do a lot. I know the clothing game inside out. And I'll tell you what fucked up the clothing game, Amazon.
Really?
Amazon fucked up the small mom and pop, but, you know, that's for us to go deeper and later on.
Do you feel like you had a foresight when you decided, all right, like 2020, like this is when I'm gonna start?
We should have sold the store early by 2014. We took 10,000 and we turned it into 100 within a year.
Wow.
And then we were doing well, but we didn't make the right decision, you know, as a unit. You know what I mean? So my wife and I didn't make the right decision. So we should have sold it early, but because what it was is that I was still working in education full time and doing the store full time. So I was working like 100 plus hours a week.
Gosh.
And I wasn't barely seeing my family. Because I think the idea of a male is to always provide with for like the family. You got to be the male, and you got to make sure that they got everything. But what they were missing me, my presence.
Wow.
And I was chasing the money.
That's
you know what I mean? So, and believe it or not, rap music has always been an influence of trying to get to the bag. So at that point, I was in 2010. I also had graduated grad school, got a store. It was a lot going on. It was a lot.
Sounds
going
like
on,
a lot for real.
But yeah, the clothing game taught me a lot before I got into the music game recently down here.
So
And that's where I met you.
right. So before we just to kind of close out, because that was fucking crazy. A lot of jewels dropped definitely right there.
There's a lot. Life teaches you a lot.
Definitely. So what decided for you to just say fuck the clothing game completely?
Life decisions. I decided to, I'm correct myself, we decided to move down south at a particular date. We stuck to our guns. We say July, the last day in July of 2020.
We're gone.
We're gone. People are like, you're crazy during COVID. So many
Probably
people.
the best time to move.
We did it right in the beginning, and you know what I'm saying? That people were like, oh, you're going to be back. There was actually a lot of negativity being thrown our way.
Really?
A lot of negativity, which was disappointed by family, friends.
Because
you know,
a lot of people relied on the store as well.
well, the community was upset we were leaving.
Damn.
People still call me to this day. We miss you. But the community understood that you have to chase your happiness. Well, the community understood it was just like our own family and friends, and even people were talking to my daughter. I'm like, why are you talking to someone who's in 8th grade? They're like, oh, you guys will be back. You know, it's funny, like, my daughter told me when people used to say that to her, they didn't understand who I was. She's like, Dad, I know who you are. You're not going to give up. You're going to plan things out well, and you're going to go hard. I'm like, absolutely. So, you know, we came down here. Like I said, shout out to Gavin, GBG, for opening up his door, not only to my family, but that included my dog and my pet. So it was all of us, and we came down here, and after 3 months staying with him at his crib, we got our own crib, and we started a new life in Florida.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So, what after that hiatus from the music game, what decided to make you want to come back?
Come back? Oh, so obviously moving down and starting over, you don't make the same money that you make when you're. I was established. I was in a community where people know me. Like, you know, there was a joke, oh, Jackson's the mayor of such and such. And so coming down here, came down from, we made 100 plus, used to come to the house. Now, nowhere near that. I mean, I think the first month I was here, I was working at Amazon. I didn't care, bro. Like, I'm grinding. I swallow my pride. I have a master's, and I have 10 years plus of experience in business and marketing. I have almost 20 years of experience in education, but I couldn't get a job. So I'm like, I'm grinding. I don't care if I have to sell mangoes, bro. So I'm not going back up north. You know what I'm saying? I'm on some David Goggins type shit sometimes. Wow. So yeah, I worked at Amazon. God provided me with that opportunity until I landed a job in education. And when I landed that job in education, I started now and at the same time I was doing events with my boy Gavin, with his company. He's a DJ, so he does a lot of weddings and so on and so forth. And he's like, listen, I've always wanted a manager and manage my company. So we worked together for about a year. I promised him a year, and I kept my promise. And we started also doing events in Fort Lauderdale Beach. So I'm not afraid to talk to people. Failure is part of life. People saying no to you,
I agree.
Is part of life. So I just ended up, I walked into this place in Fort Lauderdale Beach that I had been to before, but the music was horrible, bro. I mean, they're right across the water. And yeah, their music was just, it was not what it was supposed to be.
Right.
Got in there, spoke to the manager. The manager hired my DJ. He became the regular Thursday night DJ. They had a rooftop, so hey, let's do a rooftop party. We did our first rooftop party. It went exceptionally well. They couldn't even believe it. And we did a few of those, and doing a few of those, I met Fame.
Through all this.
Yeah, and that's why I met Fame, because his cinematographer, KJ, shout out to KJ Films, he was there that night filming one of our parties. So as he's filming this event, he introduces me, and you know how people say they're a rapper. I'm like, he introduced himself, and he's like, yeah, I'm a rapper, out of Miami. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I still give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, yeah, send me your stuff. And then he told me he was Dominican, so we had a deeper connection once he told me he was Dominican. And one of my peoples from Lawrence.
Knows Fame?
No, one of the people from Providence, Dominican dude, Crook Rock. Shout out to Crook, who's a big music distributor off on the East Coast, physical music, and also big into the health. Shout out to his business, Organic Smoothies. He opened up in Providence, but he was there. He showed up randomly to show love because he was down in Florida. He's like, yo, I'm making this party. So they knew each other. So, we vibed out. Around that same time, I have a very positive relationship with Rex. who's from my city, Lawrence. Shout out to Rex. Shout out to Terminology. Shout out to Static Selector. They're all from Lawrence, Mass. We're a small city, only 7 square miles, but we produce a lot of talent.
Damn.
Yeah, and I told Rex, yo, I want to do a concert. You know what I'm saying? I want to partner up with you. So partnered up with Rex. We got Sky Zoo to jump on board. And then I was listening to Fane's music at the time, and I fell in love with the song Alapata. I'm like, yo, this song is dope. And then I saw that he was versatile. So, you know, I'm like, yo, be one of the co-headliners. So I didn't want 1,000 opening acts. You know what I'm saying? I reached out to, actually, Rex reached out to DJ Heron, who's from Miami.
Shout out DJ Heron for sure.
Yep. He's helped us a lot. Especially that 2022 Addictive Affairs, you know, they gave us green lights on a lot of shows. So shout out to Addictive Affairs and Clockwork.
Definitely.
Dan
Big shout out
Green
to-
and DJ
yeah.
Heron. Heron DJ'd, and you know the show was dope. Fane did a phenomenal job. He impressed a lot of people. I think sometimes, you know how they said like Jesus had to leave Jerusalem in order for people to appreciate him?
Yep.
So it's like I had to come from out of town.
To get that appreciation.
No, for Fane to get, for people to recognize his talent. I'm like, yo, this dude could write. He could flow with different beats.
So you're saying like when you took him up north, he started.
No. Like when I came from up north down here and I did that show.
You seen.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, how doesn't he have management? How doesn't he have, like, why is he not on? So, you know, we developed, let's say, hey, let's be friends first. And think about how, whether or not we're going to go into this business partnership. So we became friends, you know, started developing the friendship, and then he talked to me sincerely of what he expected, and the same thing what I expected, and then, you know, we made it official at the end of 2021.
So it's like all on paperwork, everything. Like.
It's official. It's official to the bone bristle. So,
Lit.
you know, I became his manager, and you know, it's not an easy task for anyone. I think he makes it easy in certain aspects because he doesn't drink. So,
Oh, he doesn't drink?
nah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so Fane, he's not a drinker, he's a smoker. So there's less issues like once it comes to shows. And he's a professional in a lot of aspects that a lot of other rappers might not be. And then I think the whole aspect about, because I have an LLC also out here, Hollywood Jack LLC, it's to like be professionals and grow. So we hit a goal. We set goals for 2022. We've hit a lot of those goals. We did our first mini tour. It was within the state, but we were one of the headliners at the Currency Show.
That's where we met.
Yeah, exactly. And Orlando. Shout out to Orlando, man.
Orlando, a good city, man. I like it out there.
Orlando shows true love to hip hop fans.
Yeah.
You know, I think out here in Southern Florida, I'm not gonna say Broward and only Dade County, but in Southern Florida, sometimes it's a little finicky. It's like sometimes people go out to rap concerts for
Just to be seen and.
to be seen or for cosmetics, not because they're true fans.
Right.
There are true fans out here.
Of course.
You know, I'm not going to say that, but that's what I've been observing. So, you know, we did the Currency Show. Prior to that, Fane also had the West Side Gun Show.
That one was dope too.
Yeah, and Alapata, it was a beautiful thing. And that's and the West Side Gun Show, I was his manager by then, so we splattered the streets with posters. Then, you know, did the Currency. After Currency, we did Millie's. Then, what else did we do?
Jay Worthy, Boldy James.
Jay Word, Boldy James, you know, done a ton of podcasts, a ton of interviews. He actually got reached out by another artist. So he's gonna be dropping a project with another artist soon, and so there's a lot of positive movement. Got him his first outside the state show under my management because he's been outside the state. He's been performing, doing his thing before me. So he performed in Manchester, and then we got also a Euro tour.
Right. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in Europe. Shout out to Rex for opening up the doors for us. So he was in 3 countries. He did 4 shows.
He's back now.
Yes, he's back now. But he's established. We met Pistol Pete last year, but he established a relationship with Pistol Pete last year. He's been working with him and under KAR.
Kill All Rats.
Yeah, under Kill All Rats.
Shout out Pistol Pete. Shout out Terror Squad.
Yeah, shout out Pistol Pete. Shout out Terror Squad. And within that relationship, it has opened up doors to other opportunities, and they just gave us a green light. And
a different type of stamp.
Different absolutely different type of stamp, because I believe Pistol sees Fane's talent, his hard work, his dedication, but also like his talent, his ability to write on site. Not a lot of rappers know how to write hooks.
Right.
Fane can write hooks. Not a lot of rappers can spit over trap and then switch to hip hop and then switch to
some Spanish shit.
Some Spanish shit. He could do it. He could do it all. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he takes criticism well. I think within our circle, shout out to Boost on the beat. Within our circle, we sit down and we're critical of, okay, your Fane, do this different. Your Jackson, do this different. And actually, it has opened up and I've grown as a person and as a man doing this management thing. It's not easy. You have to swallow your pride and be able to listen, because I'm listening to someone who's 12 years younger than me.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, 13 years younger than me at times, because he knows more about the music thing than I know, and I have to sit back and say, okay, and then I have to go out and do my homework in addition to what he's teaching me. So I have to teach myself.
Right.
Still reach out to Casino.
Yes.
Shout out to Casino again. And then, we still get love now. We get love from different people within the city, including yourself, so on and so forth. But now that we got that stamp, you're going to see Fane and very, very soon in different places, and people are going to be surprised. I'm not surprised. But other individuals are going to be surprised. We're still working. Shit ain't sweet.
Right.
You still got to grind, and you still got to put in the hours,
Fact.
And you got to be creative, man. You got to think outside the box.
It's hard, for sure. But two, I mean, we about to get up out of here too, but my final question to you is there any advice that you want to give to anybody that's aspiring to, get into the management game, aspiring to get into the clothing game, or just, aspiring just to be a better person overall? Because I feel like throughout this conversation, like, I chill with you,
Yeah.
and we tap in often, you feel me? I still learn hella new shit, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there was a lot of jewels. You gave a lot of guidance there, but if there's any, last bit of advice that you want to give to the people out there, let's do it.
The last piece of advice that there's so much. I mean, put God first.
Yes.
Be honest. What has opened up doors for me is that, especially down here, sometimes people ask me to do things. If I can't do it, I say, I can't do it, or I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to learn.
To point you in that direction.
Yeah, man. And I worked a lot for free when I was down here. Not anymore, but I worked a lot for free because I was willing to sacrifice my time in order to learn and understand and meet different people. So swallow your pride. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say no. I mean, follow your dreams. Write things out. Writing things out, it's very important, because then you see it concrete and you can reflect, did I achieve this? Sometimes achieving certain things is getting up and doing it.
That's fact.
Just get up and do it. How'd you do it? by doing it. Just get up, get on there, get on the road, call people, email people. I just had a conversation with DJ Epps, a Miami legend. How'd you do that? Someone asked me. Yo, I DM'd him. But I also use my contacts. You know, shout out Tone from Audio Box down in Miami, another podcast, who showed love to Fane. And I saw his interview with DJ Epps, and it was an amazing interview. You get a different perspective of Miami history. I always want to learn about Southern Florida. It's my new home now. I'm here for a very long time, bro.
Well, we have to have you here.
No, I'm only visiting back home. Shout out to the 978, New England, all that area, when it's summertime. You know, catch me out there between May and maybe early October. I am not going back up there for any social reasons whatsoever unless it's around that time. Anything else is emergencies because, I'm tired.
Yes.
But, you know, follow your dreams. Be an honest person. Be a hardworking person. Be willing to take advice and listen. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, be willing to grow.
Yeah.
You have to be growth. I will be 42 in a week. When I shave, I look like I'm 35, but I'll be 42. I'll be 42 in a week, right? So I take that into perspective every day I get up. So I'm like, okay, how long am I doing this? Who am I doing? You know, people now reaching out, they want me to manage them. I'm like, nah. I only got one time for one artist, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it right, and he might be it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then that's it, because it's a lot of work. But I'm willing to get out there. It has to be in your heart if you want to grind. If you don't have that in your heart, if you don't want to go to sleep at 3 a.m, get up at 6. You know, I still have a day job. I'm still doing what I got to do, but you know, I'm still working. I'm still having conversations with people and reaching out and seeing how to make Heart of a Wolf, which is Fane's company, his brand work, but also how to make Hollywood Jack work. I have a meeting right after this podcast, you know, a business meeting, to help someone else within our team grow their brand. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because growing your brand is also means financially growing as well.
Agree. Damn, we hit it right there on the dot. Is there anything else that, you know, the people should be looking out for, and let them know where they can find you at for sure?
Yeah, you can find me at Hollywood Jack 978 on Instagram. If you have any questions, you can email me, HollywoodJack978@gmail.com.
Call the number in the bio too. That's how I tapped in.
Yeah, call the number in the bio. It's not my real number. You know, Gabe has my real number now, but it's my Google number.
Fact.
So call the number in the bio. Send me I respond, because I hate when people don't respond to me. Like, I know people are busy, but if you scroll and you're hitting up your boys back, say, yo, fam, I can't help you right now. I'm super busy. Just tell me that.
Thanks.
So I've told that to people, like, yo, I can't help you. I can't do this. But with you, I was like, I followed up with you. I'm like, and it was weeks. I'm like, yo, I'm busy. Yo, I got time today. I'll go by the studio. Yo, I got time today. I'll go check this out. And, you know, and that's how you build relationship. But you were also very genuine. And I'm
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I'm like, yo, I'm gonna mess with this dude. He's a genuine person, you know, and time teaches you who's a real dude and who's a fuckboy.
Yes, sir.
Same thing for women, who's real and who's a fuckboy.
Yes,
because
sir.
you don't want that in your circle.
That's a fact. Well, this was the Florida Vibe Directory, man. Big shout out to my boy, Diafika Juice, Young Luke on the boards as always. You already know I go by the name Gabe Avelli. We got another interview coming this Friday, but you already know we got Proximity FM Saturday, 2 p.m. All artists, if you do want to get your music played, hit us up in the email or in the DMs. You heard?
All right, you see, he gave you a jewel. You want your music played. hit him up in the DM or email. Subscribe.
Subscribe to the channel.
It's the righteous
Subscribe.
That's the most important thing.
Subscribe. You gotta tell them subscribe.
Check it out.
And
This is
share it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Share the interviews. All interviews.
Shout out to the Florida Vibe Directory. You're now listening to the best playlist in South Florida.
Yeah, and I had to phone up real quick. I was like,
Yo, my bad. I just